Ah, look at you, standing there, blinking like you've just woken up in the middle of someone else's nightmare. But oh, it's yours, all yours. You ever wonder what happens when the masks stop working? When the nice little stories you tell yourself at night stop keeping the monsters under the bed and start inviting them in for dinner? That's where we are now, right on the edge. The part of the ride where the seatbelt clicks and the ground disappears. And guess what? You're not the passenger anymore. They say be nice, play fair, smile politely. Sit still, speak when spoken to, stay in your lane. And you did it. You followed the rules, swallowed the script, played the part like a good little actor on a stage built by people too afraid to live. But then something started itching under your skin, didn't it? Like a whisper or a static buzz that just wouldn't go away. You tried to ignore it, didn't you? Tried to drown it out with noise music, people, fake laughs, but it kept scratching, clawing, growling. Not outside, inside. Because that wasn't a warning. That was a wake-up call. See, they fear the version of you that doesn't bow. The version that laughs at the script and flips the table. The one that doesn't wait for applause to feel alive. They fear that version because it's not obedient. It's not safe. It doesn't sit down when it's told, and it doesn't ask for permission to breathe fire. That version, the one they tried to bury under expectations and guilt and a whole buffet of shoulds, that version is you. The real one. The one you were always meant to become, but oh, how they trained you. Like a circus animal, jumping through hoops for scraps of validation. Good job. So proud of you. You're such a team player. What they really meant was thank you for not making us uncomfortable. But the version of you they fear, it doesn't care who's uncomfortable. It is the discomfort. It walks into the room and makes the walls sweat. It speaks. And the lies people have been clinging to start cracking at the seams. That version doesn't want to fit in. It wants to burn the mold, and here's the trick they always knew. They saw the sparks, the flashes in your eyes, that twitch in your smile that said, I'm not buying this. So they tried to dull you, scare you, guilt you, keep you just afraid enough to stay quiet, but just hopeful enough to keep showing up. But you kept slipping, kept cracking. And now it's too late. You're not who you were, and you're never going back. The version of you they fear is the one who laughs during the storm, not after. The one who doesn't just survive chaos, but drinks it, wipes their mouth, and asks for seconds. You were never made for comfort. You were made for friction, for tension, for walking straight into the madness while everyone else runs the other way. They don't want that version out, because that version sees clearly. That version knows who's lying, who's scared, who's faking. And that kind of clarity, that's dangerous in a world addicted to pretending. They'll call you names. Difficult, aggressive, crazy. That's the badge, isn't it? The sign you're waking up? They only throw stones when the truth makes them tremble. You don't need to be loved by the ones who are still sleeping. You don't need to be understood by people who've never questioned the sound of their own chains. You just need to keep going, keep growing. Keep becoming the version of you that rips the curtain off the stage and says, this is the show. Pathetic. You were never meant to be a background character in your own life. They built the rules to keep people like you in line. People who ask why and who says, and what happens if I don't? People who stop clapping just because everyone else is clapping. They fear that version because that version doesn't need them. That version doesn't shrink to fit. That version breaks locks, not because it wants to escape, but because it knows freedom shouldn't have locks in the first place. You're not becoming a monster. You're becoming whole. And wholeness is messy. It's loud. It doesn't apologize for taking up space. That version of you, it doesn't wait for the green light. It runs the red and dares the world to try and stop it. And the most terrifying part for them, they can't stop it. Not anymore. Because once you meet that version, once you look it in the eyes and say, finally, you don't forget. You can't unsee. You can't pretend that the smaller version was ever enough, and that's what they fear most. That one day you'll wake up, stretch your limbs, feel the weight of your voice, and realize you were never meant to whisper. That you'll stop asking for a seat and build your own damn table. That you'll smile, not the fake kind, but the real kind, the one that says, I know who I am now. And when that happens, when the version of you they fear stands up and takes the wheel, well then the whole game changes. Comfort. Ah, what a cute little trap. Soft blankets, warm lights, polite lies dressed up as compliments. You're doing great. Don't worry, you're on the right path. The right path, huh? Whose path? Because it sure as hell wasn't carved for you. No, that path's smooth. Paved. Lined with smiling faces and motivational quotes on coffee mugs. That's the one they build to keep you asleep. It's not a road, it's a treadmill. And you're sweating, panting, smiling through your teeth while you go absolutely nowhere. They sell it like freedom, success, stability. Oh, you got a desk and a badge and a paycheck. Well done. Now shut up and sit down. Don't rock the boat. Don't question the schedule. Don't ask why the fluorescent lights make your skin feel fake. Just keep showing up. Keep hitting your targets. Keep shrinking until the only part of you that shows is the part that says, yes, boss. You want to know what real danger looks like? It's not chaos, it's comfort. It's waking up one day and realizing you traded your fire for air conditioning. You start to forget what you were made of. You stop feeling the edges of things. The corners get smoothed out, your words get smaller, your voice gets softer. You used to scream in color. Now you murmur in grayscale. That's what comfort does. It drains the contrast, steals the volume. And you let it. Because it's easier, because it's safer. Because no one told you the truth. That the safest place in the world is still a prison if you're not free to break at sea. The thing about comfort is it doesn't ask questions. It doesn't challenge you. It doesn't poke the wound and say, what's hiding under here? It just kisses your forehead, tucks you in, and numbs you until you can't feel the ache anymore. But the ache doesn't go away. It just goes underground. Starts whispering in your gut. Starts scratching behind your eyes, and eventually you start wondering if the voice in your head is broken, or if everything else is. They teach you that discomfort is a problem. That if you feel restless, if you feel like something's off, then you must be the broken one. Here, take a pill. Watch a show. Buy a thing. Anything to stop you from pulling the thread and unraveling the nice, clean lie. But what if the itch you feel is the only honest thing left? What if the discomfort isn't the enemy, it's the clue, the breadcrumb, the map? The people who changed the world, they weren't comfortable. They weren't quiet, they weren't obedient. They had blisters on their souls and fire in their lungs. They weren't built for calm waters. They were storms and boots. And every one of them had a moment, a flicker, a split second where they looked around and thought, this can't be it. And they were right. It wasn't. It never was, but the difference is they moved. They chose the pain. They walked into the fire. They let it hurt. Let it burn. And on the other side, they were real. Not polished, not perfect. So here's the funny part, everyone's chasing a dream. But no one wants to leave the bed. They want the fire without the heat, the change without the breaking. But it doesn't work like that. Growth is violence. It's bone shifting under skin. It's saying goodbye to the old you with a scream, not a whisper. And if that sounds uncomfortable, good. It's supposed to. That means its working comfort will feed you just enough to keep you from starving, but never enough to make you strong. It will dress your cage in gold, hand you the key, and convince you that staying is noble. That struggle is unnecessary. That rebellion is childish. But what if childish is exactly what you need? What if that reckless, loud, stubborn piece of you is the only part that still remembers how to feel alive? Comfort is not your friend. It's a lullaby sung by cowards to keep you quiet, to keep you dreaming of a life you're not brave enough to chase. You want to know why you're restless? Because something inside you is still awake, still watching, still waiting. You've wrapped yourself in soft lies, but the truth is teeth, and it's hungry. You weren't made for soft landings. You were made for impact, for sharp turns and loud exits, for broken rules and shattered ceilings. So go ahead, tear the wallpaper off your life, rip the smile off your mask, step into the cold, the dark, the unknown. That's where it starts. That's where you start out of the mask. Not the one you wear at parties or for the cameras, no, the one that smiles while your insides scream. That perfect little performance you put on every day, just to make sure nobody gets too close, nobody asks too much. It's exhausting, isn't it? Holding up the version of yourself that they like polished, filtered, digestible. You become your own PR team, selling the illusion while the real you suffocates behind the curtain. Funny thing about masks, they start off as protection, don't they? A shield. A little lie to get by. You say, I'm fine, and they believe you, so you say it again and again. And before you know it, you forget what your face looked like underneath. You wake up one morning and your reflection feels like a stranger mouthing your words, copying your gestures, but the eyes are casammente. And no one notices. Because they don't want the truth, they want the version of you that makes them comfortable, so you keep dancing, keep performing, keep twisting yourself into smaller and smaller shapes to fit into the boxes they hand you. Be nice, be quiet, be successful but not too proud, be strong but not too loud. Be different, but only if it's profitable. You're unique, great, package it, market it, sell it. But don't you dare bleed, don't cry too loud, don't shake the table. Don't show them that you're human, because here's the dirty little secret: people don't want authenticity. They want the appearance of it, a safe kind of raw, polished imperfection. Cry on cue, but not too messy. Break down in a way that's still pretty. They want your pain, but only if it entertains them. Only if it teaches them something without making them feel too much. You start to wonder if you're allowed to feel at all, or if every emotion has to be packaged in a motivational quote in a slow piano track, and so the mask becomes your skin. You forget how to scream without permission. You forget how to be ugly, loud, angry, or broken. You forget how to be real, because being real gets you labeled too intense, too emotional, too much. They'll smile while they put a muzzle on your soul, telling you it's for your own good. And maybe you even believe them. Maybe you start to think that peace is the absence of truth, but the truth doesn't die. It just waits, lurks, scratches the inside of your chest like a feral animal locked in a cage. It watches you smile for the cameras, clap at the right times, nod through conversations that make you want to scream. And every time you silence it, it gets louder. It's not content with your scripts. It wants out. It wants blood. It wants you to remember who you were before you learned how to lie, because that's what the world teaches you, right? Lie well and you'll be loved. Perform well and you'll be accepted. Just don't make waves. Don't be inconvenient. Don't be honest. Honesty is messy. Honesty is inconvenient. Honesty makes people uncomfortable. So instead you become a ghost in your own life. Walking, talking, existing but never living. And somewhere along the line you start to forget that you're dying. Slowly, silently, smiling while you rot. Because masks don't just hide, they kill. They starve your spirit while feeding your image. They steal your fire and replace it with flickering neon. They give you applause instead of meaning, followers instead of friends, noise instead of connection. But what happens when the mask cracks? When the performance fails, when the pain leaks through the smile, you panic. You scramble to fix it. Glue it back together. Smile harder. Laugh louder. Because you think if they see the real you, they'll leave. But maybe, just maybe, that's the point. Maybe the ones who only love the mask were never worth your face. Maybe the performance was never for you. Maybe the only way to find the ones who see you is to stop hiding, but that takes guts. That takes madness. That takes looking at the perfect little lie you built and lighting a match, burning it to the ground and walking into the fire without knowing if anyone will follow. Because that's what freedom tastes like: ash, smoke, and the bitter sting of truth. It's not polite. It's not easy. It's not cute. It's raw. It's chaotic. It's yours, control. Now there's a funny little illusion. Everyone's scrambling to grab it, hold it, lock it down in some airtight jar. Control your future, they say. Control your thoughts, your habits, your success. Control your emotions. As if life is this obedient little puppy that'll sit when you tell it to. As if chaos hasn't already set the whole room on fire while you were too busy organizing your drawer of dreams. But sure, keep pretending you've got it handled. Keep clutching that steering wheel like the road ahead isn't made of landmines. You see, the lie they sold you, the real con, is that you could ever be in charge. That if you worked hard enough, prayed long enough, sacrificed deep enough, you'd get the life you ordered. You bought into that neat little fantasy where input equals output. You grind, you grow, you win. But the world doesn't play fair. The dice are loaded, the rules are rigged, and the dealer is drunk. But go ahead, smile. Keep telling yourself it's all part of the plan. They don't tell you what happens when the plan shatters. When the people you counted on vanish. When the doors you were promised never open. When the thing you built burns to the ground, and the only sound left is your own breathing and the crackle of your expectations turning to ash. Oh no, they don't write books about that part. Because if they did, you'd realize something. No one wants you to know chaos is the natural order and control is just your coping mechanism. But you cling to it anyway. Because letting go feels like dying. Feels like surrender. Feels like falling into some abyss where you're not sure if there's a bottom or if you'll just keep tumbling until you forget your own name. So instead you fake it. You stack your schedule, plan every hour, micromanage your destiny. You strangle the moment, trying to make it behave. But the more you squeeze, the faster it slips through your fingers like smoke. That's the thing about control. It evaporates the second you think you've got it. And while you're busy managing your fantasy, life is out there laughing, playing chess with your delusions. You're 5 steps behind on a board you didn't even know existed. You scream at the sky, at the lanterns in the dark, cry into pillows and call it growth. But nothing changes. Because you're trying to fix chaos with a checklist. You're trying to outthink a storm. But storms don't negotiate. They don't care how carefully you planned your day. So what do? You numb it, you distract yourself, scroll, drink, repeat, whatever it takes to feel like you're still in charge. Keep the mask on, smile when they ask how you are. Tell them everything's fine while your soul is chewing on shards of broken dreams. But hey, as long as your calendar's full and your image is sharp, no one will suspect a thing, because the truth is, you were never meant to control it. You were meant to dance in it, not the waltz. Not the tango. I'm talking madness. Wild, reckless, barefoot on glass kind of dancing. The kind that scares people. The kind that wakes something up inside you, because deep down you know the chaos is coming. You can smell it, and part of you wants it. Not because you're broken. Not because you're lost. But because you're done pretending. You're done worshiping control like it's some sacred god, when really, it's just a leash you wrapped around your own throat. Maybe the storm isn't your enemy. Maybe it's your invitation. An unmarked envelope shoved under your door at 3 a.m. with a single word inside: jump. And maybe, just maybe, the ones who leap, the ones who laugh as the wind tears at their face, maybe they're not insane. Maybe they're the only ones who are finally free. Because while everyone else is still trying to glue their plans back together, still clinging to the illusion that they can outrun the chaos, you'll already be in it, breathing it in. Letting it break you and remake you in the same breath. Because only then, only in the heart of the storm, do you realize you were never meant to be the master. You were meant to be the fire. Oh, trust. That precious little currency people throw around like it grows on trees. Everyone wants it, demands it, flaunts it like it's proof of their virtue. Trust me, they say with their Sunday smiles and polished shoes, hiding the knives behind their backs. But here's the dirty little secret they never tell you in fairy tales. Trust is a loaded gun, and most people don't know which end they're holding. They'll hand it to you with trembling fingers, not even sure if it's cocked, and expect you to aim it at your own head and smile. They want you to believe in them. These walking contradictions. These hollow echoes of intentions they don't even understand. They'll promise you loyalty until it's inconvenient. Swear they've got your back right up until they stab it. They talk about trust like it's a foundation, but it's more like a rickety ladder, soaked in gasoline. One wrong step, and you're just another cautionary tale. But sure, go ahead, believe them. Believe the ones who say they'd never lie, never leave, never change. That's the punchline, because trust isn't built on truth. No, it's built on perception, on illusion, on how well someone plays the role you've cast them in. You don't trust people, you trust your version of them. The script you wrote, the fantasy you created. And when they deviate from that, when they tear off the mask and show you the chaos underneath, that's when your little fairy tale catches fire. That's when you start to wonder if you ever knew them at all, or if you were just talking to a shadow that mirrored your own need to believe. They call it betrayal when someone breaks your trust. But betrayal isn't a crime, it's a revelation. It's the moment you see things clearly, maybe for the first time. It's when the fog lifts and you realize the monster wasn't hiding under your bed, it was sleeping beside you the whole time, whispering sweet promises in the dark. And you let it, because you wanted to. Because trusting someone means giving them the power to destroy you and hoping they don't. What kind of game is that? But here's the best part, you keep doing it. Again and again. Like a moth to a flame that's already scorched its wings off. You know better, but knowledge doesn't stop the hunger. The hunger to connect, to believe, to not be alone in this mess. So you hand over the gun, fingers trembling, smile cracked, hoping this time it won't go off. Hoping this time the person pulling the trigger remembers your name. And when they don't, when the trigger is pulled and the blood is real and the silence is louder than any scream, that's when the lesson sets in. That's when you start building walls sharp and high and cold. Never again, you whisper, like a vow to the ghosts of your past. But even that's a lie, because all it takes is one smile, one laugh, one look that reminds you of the dream you buried, and the walls crumble like they were made of paper and good intentions. And just like that, you're back in the game. You see, trust isn't about others, it's about you, about what you're willing to risk, about how many pieces of yourself you're willing to gamble in a world where most people don't even know how to hold their own. It's a dance with disaster, and the music never stops. You learn the steps, hesitate, extend, recoil, and still you dance. Because in some twisted way, it's better than standing still. And what about trusting yourself? Now that's the real joke, isn't it? You with your mistakes and your doubts and your desperate need for validation. You trust your gut until it betrays you. You follow your heart until it drags you into another abyss. And then you sit there broken and bitter, blaming everyone else when the truth is you handed them the blueprint to your ruin. You drew the map, and then acted surprised when they followed it.